Hello everybody and welcome to this, well, it's the first broadcast we've done for a while really. Things have just not suited to an organisation that promotes charitable public events and talks about live sport. No one could have predicted when we last did anything around World Radio Day what could have happened in the next 3 or 4 months. It's been truly incredible. We've been plodding on the best we can. Obviously, some of the articles promoting events, we've left the articles up, but the events just to raise awareness for the organisations really. But the events unfortunately have had to be cancelled. A lot of the charity football events and the family fun days, that sort of thing. The horse racing double handful website is now called Reprieve Media CIC Racing. Basically we lost the domain name of it. They didn't tell us it was going to be renewed, it was going to expire. We went to renew it, they wanted $9 for it when it was free initially. That can be found now at Reprieve Media CIC Racing.ml. The other site is totally defunct, you just won't find it. The results of the racing really, we're concentrating mainly on horses that were identified in front of crowds. We've identified a couple, but we must have identified around 14 or 15 of the horses since racing started in May in France and other places, times in Europe, and none of them have even won. So we've backed right off identifying horses. Reviewing horses will start probably in the next week or so again, because we have got plenty of horses that have been running. The events though, like we said, they're slowly but surely getting back into the best they can do. Hopefully we'll have more on them in due course. Obviously the events are very, very flexible at the moment. Nobody knows really what they can and can't do at these events. But the money needs to be raised. So hopefully people can check out the Bradley Lowry Foundation website and maybe donate through that. Or maybe a Brow 4 with Anna Dutton. There's plenty of news on her own website and in the articles we've written and how people can donate to her organisation. And the Bradley Lowry Foundation is just the same website that they've always had. Plenty of fantastic appeals and causes going on, so please support when you can. Hopefully the interview we did with Gareth Horsley and Anna Dutton for World Radio Day is still very much on the website, but for raising awareness of organisations really only. None of the events mentioned in them happened, unfortunately, for everybody concerned. Right, thank you very much for that, listening to that. Now we're going to move on quickly. What we've decided to cobble together is myself and Steve Allpress have decided to just basically he's given his thoughts on a few upcoming races over the weekend and I'll do the same. So without further ado, we're going to touch over now to Allpress Towers, where Steve kindly took the time to prepare a pre-recorded segment for us, outlining really his thoughts on the two English classics taking place tomorrow, which is Saturday, the 4th of July. They are the English Derby and the English Oaks, held at Epsom. So without further ado, it's over to Steve.
Good evening, Paul. This evening I'm going to go through my selections for Saturday's racing at Epsom. We have the rescheduled Investec Oaks and Derby. They're both Group 1 races over the 12 furlongs for 3-year-olds. Firstly, we're going to look at the Oaks. This year's renewal looks a relatively small field. A bit disappointing on a whole, I'd say. And looking through the lineup, I'd be certain if one of the top two at the head of the market failed to win this race. We have the 1,000 guineas winner, Love, trained by Aidan O'Brien, and she'll be taken on by the promising daughter of Frankel, Frankly Darling, who's trained by John Gosden. As mentioned, I feel these are the two horses to concentrate on in this race. And I'd be surprised, to say the least, if any of the other horses in the lineup played their hand. Looking through both the positives, the negatives of these two horses, we'll start with Love. Out of the two, she's the horse with the most experience, and she's also raced at the higher level. Obviously, last race at Newmarket, the Guineas, would be the best form on paper. However, she's stepping up in trip for the first time. And, as they say, you don't really know until they run over that extra half a mile for the first time, whether they're actually going to stay or not. Obviously, the connections are hopeful she'll get the trip, but until she's done it, there would be big question marks there for me. But obviously, she has got the best form in the book, but obviously that is over a mile. So with her, they're just going to be hopeful that she gets the trip. She wouldn't be my selection for the race, but it would, at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if she did win. I think then who my selection is. Obviously, it's Frankly Darling from the John Gosden stable. She had one start last season where I believe she was runner-up. And then this season, she's had two runs, the first of which was at Newcastle just after lockdown. That was over 10 furlongs. She ran pretty green and inexperienced, was pretty visible throughout the race, but I felt, from the 2 furlong marker to the line, she really started to get the hang of things, and I think the further she went, the better, and she pulled quite a long way clear. And I know a couple of horses behind have run well since in lesser graded races. Frankly Darling's then gone on to Royal Ascot to run in the Ribblesdale. Again, she's ran over that was a step up in trip by 2 furlongs, so she's run over the 12 furlongs already, so stamina won't be an issue for her. We know she'll stay the trip. I think the main concern with Frankly Darling, looking at her last 2 runs, is whether they can settle her down a little bit during the race. She looks a pretty headstrong filly, and that would be probably my only concern going into the race. But as you well know, she's trained by the master, John Gosden, and if anyone can get her to settle and relax, he'll be the one to do it. It's obviously quite a quick turnaround since the Royal meeting, just over a couple of weeks. So that might be in the back of your mind too, if you're with this filly. But a fair amount of horses are in the same boat really. They've had not a very long break due to the lockdown, and they're following up quite quickly. But all in all, when I look through it, I think she's massively improving, and I kind of have when I look at her, she's got that little bit of enable in her, that kind of stamina and toughness, and I'm just hoping that she could probably outlast Love, as they enter the business end of the race. I do think it's a 2-horse race. I know a couple of the fillies behind have ran into places and that behind these 2 horses already, but for me, I'd be surprised if one of these 2 didn't win. But out of the 2, I'd be with Frankly Darling, just slightly over Love. So yeah, she's my selection for the Oaks first of all. Right, now we're going to go on to the Derby. This is at 4:55 p.m. on Saturday. The Derby's always a race I look forward to. I always tend to look for horses, in the previous season, like a 2-year-old horse that's going to develop into a Derby horse the following season. And from those horses I was looking at last year, only one of them actually lines up in this year's renewal. And I think we'll start with that horse. That horse is Kamiko, trained by Andrew Balding with a Sheen Murphy on board. Kamiko won the 2,000 Guineas 3 weeks ago in his first run of the season. I was a big fan of Cameco last season when it won the Group 1, the rescheduled Group 1 at Newcastle on the all-weather. I was really taken by him that day. And I was pretty sure he was going to develop into a Group 1 3-year-old. I just wasn't quite sure at the time whether he'd be a Guineas type or maybe a Derby type. I look at Cameco and I look through his breeding, and I kind of feel that he's one of those horses that's in between a miler and a mile and a half horse. I felt, and I still feel to this day, that his optimum trip would be 10 furlongs. That said, he did win the Guineas last time, and he stayed on well to do so. And I think he obviously deserves to take his chance in the lineup on Saturday. And although I do have major concerns regarding the extra couple of furlongs, 10 furlongs wouldn't be a problem, but those extra couple of furlongs, they would concern me slightly. But that said, if he was to win, it wouldn't be a complete surprise, because I think ability alone, I do think he is the best horse going into the race. And clearly, from everything we've seen so far, he has got the best form. I think he's quite well drawn in the middle, stall 11. So I think that'll be pretty handy. I know statistics show that stall 10, stall 11's a good area to be drawn in. So I think Cameco's an interesting horse. I know he's been working well in recent weeks, and I think whoever beats Cameco will win. But obviously, as mentioned, the stamina would be a concern. Now I'll go on to my selection of the race. It's English King from the Ed Walker stable with Frankie Dettori on board. I watched English King win at Lingfield, probably a month ago now, I think it was, and he impressed me that day. I liked the way he travelled and quickened, and looking through the form lines of the horse that he beat that day, he's come out since and been second to the Irish Derby winner from last weekend. So I think just looking through form lines alone, I think English King's certainly going to be a major player in this race. The horse I was referring to that was runner-up to English King at Lingfield was Berkshire Rocco, and he was second to Santiago in the 1 mile 6 race at Royal Ascot just 2 weeks ago, and he ran pretty well that day. But I think the winner might be a pretty useful horse too. So I do think we have the right favourite here. However, it's not a foregone conclusion, and obviously being drawn in stall 1 does pose a little bit of a task. Statistics show that stall 1's not a good stall to be drawn in, so that would be a bit of a worry. But just going off the horse's ability alone, I think he's going to be a major player. So yeah, he's going to be my selection. Of the other horses in the race, Mogul, ridden by Ryan Moore, I was disappointed with him at Newcastle at the back end of last year. I was disappointed with him at Royal Ascot a couple of weeks ago, and I would be surprised if he won the race. He is one of them from the leading market rivals that I don't really fear myself, but I could be wrong. But one of the other horses I'd like to mention is the other Aidan O'Brien horse, the one that was runner-up in the Irish 2000 Guineas, Vatican City. He ran well to stay on that day. I think it was pretty eye-catching the way he stayed on. Obviously, he's another one that's going to be stepping up in trip, so it's a bit of a question mark, but he's quite a big price, and I wouldn't put anybody off going with him either. But yeah, for me in this race, I'm going to stick with the Ed Walker trained English King, but I do have a lot of respect for Cameco. But whether he's going to get that extra distance, I have a slight concern. I think he's more of a horse that will be suited by like the Jedmont International over 10 furlongs later in the season. But I have no doubt he's a horse with huge ability, and I guess time will tell. But yeah, English King is my selection, and Kamiko would be my alternative in the Derby.
Fantastic thoughts, as always, there from Mr. Allpress on the 2 races at Epsom coming up, the English Oaks and the English Derby. He's always not that far away, we feel, and we wish him all the luck with his selections. Me personally, in these races, I think the Derby is a very good renewal. As Steve touched on, there was a couple that he touched on, obviously, Kamiko. Oh, that could be a good one, because I'm not sure, nobody knows really whether that horse is going to stay. It's a shame that we never got any clues, because that was obviously the dam, Sweeter Still, is herself a half-sister to Kingsbarns, who actually stayed a mile at 2, who won the Racing Post Trophy, and then unfortunately died, aged 8. So we unfortunately didn't really get much of a clue as to his progeny at all, unfortunately. Another horse in there that Steve wasn't keen on, I can't rule out at all, is Mogul. Obviously to the pedigree, a full brother to Japan, dual Group 1 winner. Other horses in there as well, the ill-fated Sir Isaac Newton, who sadly lost his life as an Australian hurdler a few weeks ago. Secret Gesture, you see, as well. That's a very good horse, that was. You know, they get the trip. I do like the horse. I've always kept faith in Mogul more than other people. I can see why people were disappointed with his last run, you know. But if you look with his run when he beat Cinnamon, you know, I think if he can replicate that sort of run tomorrow, he won't be far away. Vatican City is another one Steve touched on. Absolutely superb pedigree of the horse again, as you would expect from Coolmore. 4-time full brother to Glen Eagles, their own sire Glen Eagles, who's made a promising start at stud, I would say. Happily, another dual Group 1 winner there. Marvellous. The dam of Fort Myers, who is running in France on Sunday. There's a lot of good horses in the pedigree, you know. The second dam, You're So Thrilling, is a full sister to Giant's Causeway. I mean, what more would you want in a horse? I thought he was very unlucky not to win the Irish Guineas. Arguably the most unlucky horse all season, in my view. Others that I've identified in that race that I really do feel as though I need to mention, though, is Emissary. Because, like Steve touched on there, there's a couple here that there is stamina doubts over a few. I don't think you can give any stamina doubts about this one, Emissary. I think he's stamina-laden pedigree. Half-brother to a horse that's already won the race previously in Workforce. You know, both out of an unraced full sister to Brian Baru, who won the St Ledger. So the stamina is there, isn't it, with this horse, you would feel. You know, there's always other horses in there, like Sea Moon as well. One of the dams is a half-sister to Sea Moon, also a decent sire. Yeah, and also Moon Search, a French Group 1 5th Group 3 enlisted winner. But she is the dam of a Supreme Novice Hurdle winner at the Cheltenham Festival. Grade 1, Cinders and Ashes. Beautiful horse, Emissary. Rule that horse out at your peril. One I was disappointed with on its first run of the season, was quite high up in my expectations before that, was Mohican Heights. Very good horse. I feel he travels well in the races. He did it too anyway. Last time out at Ascot, didn't convince me at all. I hope he bounces back. Half-brother to Satcham. The old Godolphin horse, Eye of the Storm as well. There's plenty of group horses in there. Plenty of Group 3 horses and listed placed horses. The second dam was placed in Group 2 as well. Mohican Girl. Yeah, there's some nice horses here. I wouldn't rule that one out. Very well thought of by connections who paid a lot of money for it at last year's Royal Ascot sales. The Oaks, I've not really got anything for the Oaks. I don't think it's the best renewal. Tiempo Vuela is I will have a little look on that one. It's the only one identified by me that has turned up in the race, which I was amazed at. Normally, if someone had told me that this time last year, I'd be amazed. But it's what happened in the Guineas as well, the English Guineas. I only had one. But we did have the Coronation Stakes winner, more of that later. We've got Tiempo Vuela's not a bad horse, really. The dam won a listed race. And she is a full sister to Lady Darshan, who's a Group 1, Group 2 listed placed, and a half sister to a winning French Grade 1 winner, Group 1 winner, sorry, and a sire in India now, Total Gallery. All out of an unraced second dam, who is a half sister to Ambivalent. Ambivalent was Group 1, Group 2 enlisted winner. And she's also the dam of a horse that ran in last year's derby called Al Hilali for Godolphin, 2019 French Group 2 winner, and a French listed winner in 2018. Plenty of good horses in there, you know. Grade 1 winning hurdler, made in Japan, is a half brother to the second dam. So stamina, whether it be good enough or not, or maybe lack a bit of experience, time will tell. But that is the one I'll be taking a chance on. So, before we wrap up the proceedings, Steve just wanted to specially jump on to do Sunday as well, because he wanted to discuss the French Derby, the Prix de Jockey Club, which is held at Chantilly. So, again, back over to Allpress Tower. Steve kindly recorded a pre-recorded segment for us, just outlining his thoughts on the race. So, Steve, over to you.
Right, my next race I'm just going to touch on is the French equivalent. It's the Prix de Jockey Club. Again, Group 1 for 3-year-old colts. This time over 10 furlongs. This race will be run on Sunday at Chantilly. This looks, I'm not as familiar with the French horses, I must say, but I have watched the majority of these run, and I can give you a little bit of my take on it. The favourite here is Victor Ladorum, Godolphin owned, with Andre Fabre trained. He heads the market after winning the French 2,000 guineas several weeks ago. He obviously will go into the race as the market leader. However, my selection for this race will be his stable companion, Ocean Atlantique. This horse I was very taken by in his last couple of runs. 2 runs ago, in the middle of May, he made his seasonal reappearance, and he's been just over a length by Pau Alto. But I was pretty taken by the way he finished the race off that day. It was a slowly run race, and I liked the way he stayed on. And I kind of, from that moment, I kind of visioned in my mind that he was going to be a horse that's being nicely prepared for this French derby. And I think he's had a nice prep run since then in Deauville at the end of May, I think it was, where he went out and he led all the way, dictated matters, and he pulled quite a long way clear of a horse that won its previous race. I think Ocean Atlantique's going to be a major player in Sunday's French derby. A good few other horses in there that have to be respected. You've got the John Gosden trained Miss Riff. He was very impressive at Newmarket, and I can't see the trip being any problem for him. You've obviously got the horse I mentioned a moment ago, Pau Alto. He beat Ocean Atlantique, and he's won 3 from his 4 starts, so he's another one that will be a major player in this race. You look down the field, it's a big field this year, so jockey positioning could be a major factor in this race. But for me, I'm going to stick my neck out and I'm going to go for the Andre Fabre trained Ocean Atlantique. But yeah, it's a good race, and I'm looking forward to this one. So that's a recap of all my selections for the weekend, both in England and France. It's obviously top class racing, plenty of Group 1s, and we look forward to it, and hopefully I've pointed you towards some winners. Thank you for having me back on here, Paul. and I look forward to doing the next preview with you in the near future.
Thank you very much again to Steve Allpress, kindly taking the time to find the time to do that for us. It's very much appreciated again. He can tell how much he's looking forward to this race, and me, myself as well. I'm looking forward to these two French races. I would have them easily above the English races in terms of quality, of the pedigree of the horses on show. Well, I think we could be in for a feast of well-bred racing over in France. I just hope that they go at a decent gallop worthy of these horses, and let's test them and see what these horses can do. Let's just not crawl round, follow each other around and have a sprint at the end. Let's have some decisive outcomes. The horse Steve went on about, you have to mention it, is Ocean Atlantique, one of my all-time European favourites this season. What a beautiful pedigree that horse has got. Steve's already touched on the form. He's out of an unraced dam who is a half-sister to Le Roi de Sanimo. What a horse that was, out in America. A US triple Group 1, Group 2 and dual Group 3 winner. Originally Brazilian though, Brazilian horse before that. She's all out of an unraced half-sister to US place Skiable. She is the dam of Three Valleys, 4-time Group 1 placed, US Group 2, Group 3 winner in England and America. Three Valleys and Derwent to hurdle the Judgmont family really. Listed winner Arrive. She is the dam of another Grade 1 winner, Promising Lead. And also 4-time Grade 1, Grade 2 placed, dual Grade 3 winner Visit. She is the dam of Western Reserve and Hasili. You know, the broodmare, legendary Judgmont broodmare Hasili. So this is a very well-bred horse. Ocean Atlantique on the Judgmont Coolmore axis. Be fascinating to see how that horse gets on. I think he might have to be good to win this race though, because there's very good horses in here. You could not, like Steve said, you could not have been failed to have impressed with Reprieve over at Newmarket. People could knock the form really of his win. Wald Koenig, heavily touted before the start of the season. He's been beaten again since, which obviously we would have not liked to have seen that. Reprieve looks a good horse. Low head carriage, just gets on with it. Relentless galloper. Related to Rafa, the second dam, Acts of Grace. It's a Group 3 enlisted winning dam, second dam. And she herself is out of a Grade 1, Grade 3 and dual listed winning dam, Rafa. So that brings into play horses like Invincible Spirit, Kodiak, Gustav Klimt, who the dam of Gustav Klimt is actually out of Rafa Masara. That's the name of it. Well done. So there's loads of good pedigree there. Others in the race though that I do, my old mate's in there again, and he ran a belting trial for the French Guineas. I actually thought he would win the French Guineas. Flopped on the day, not for the first time. You could argue he flopped a bit on his big try at Group 1 level as well. Steve touched on the other work timer horse, Pau Alto. Ties in with the form of Ocean Atlantique. But myself, I actually do prefer Equivane out of the two work timer runners. Very nicely bred horse. Group 2 place dam, Sapphire Pendant is a full sister to King George River. Now both out of a second dam who's a full sister to Maryinsky. Maryinsky herself is the dam of Peeping Fawn, 4-time Group 1 winning filly. You know, she is the dam of a triple Group 1 listed winner September. And she is also the dam of, as well as Peeping Fawn, Grade 1 winner and sire The Way You Are. Smolensk, another Grade 1 placed horse in Group 1 placed horse in France. And she also sired a sire as well. The dam of Group 1 placed Grade 3 and listed winner and sire Can the Man. Turnberry Isle, former Coolmore horse in there as well. And then you've got dual Grade 1 placed Grade 2 winner Better Than Honour. And she's the dam of Grade 1 winner Casino Drive, Grade 1 winner and sire Jazil, and 4-time US Grade 1 winner Rags to Riches, among others. Absolutely fantastic pedigree. And the third dam, one dual Grade 1, Grade 2 and Grade 3 winner, Blush with Pride. What more do people want? I'm amazed that horse has not done more than what it has. And so is my various balances with these people. Fort Myers, we've touched on that one earlier, another one that's been disappointed. I've literally followed that horse over a cliff, Breeders' Cup. You know, I can't believe another one is not another one that hasn't won the races that it should have really. Pisanello is an interesting one to me. Not I was impressed with it when it won the Omnium at St. Cloud. You know, before they locked down, it stuck its big head out. Looked as though a nice horse. You know, it's quite a nicely bred horse, half sister to a dual Group 1 place listed winning Dam Glorious Sight. She's the dam of a horse we're actually following that is just bubbling nicely under pattern level at the moment with 3 out of 3. Trained in France, called Glycon. Rouget, Jean-Christophe Rouget trains that one. But she herself is also a half sister to Group 2 winner Beauty is Truth. And she's the dam of a dual Group 1 placed Fire Lily, dual Group 1 winner Hydrangea, Australian Group 1 winner and sire United States, and last year's dual 2019 Grade 1 winning filly Hermosa. A nice pedigree, Pisanello. You know, the Group 1 fourth, Group 2 enlisted winning second dam Zeldin. She's a half sister to a triple Group 1 place, Group 2 and Group 3 winner called Zippin. There's some nice horses in this pedigree. Also Commissioned is in the pedigree as well. Very lightly raced on the flat, but he did win at Royal Ascot. And he's also a very good hurdler. Grade 1 fourth and Grade 2 placed hurdler. Very lightly raced in that sphere. So all in all, I would say that we're in for a fascinating race there with the colts. I've got to touch on the fillies though. Steve didn't really have time to record anything on the fillies. I know he fancies a few of them though. I'll give my view on them. Alpine Star would be my standout 3-year-old filly this year. Nobody was more delighted than me when Frankie Dettori booted her home to win the Coronation Stakes at Royal Ascot. The clues were there. It picked itself. Half sister to a 4-time Grade 1 winner, Alpha Centauri. You know, that was a superb filly. And if you go back further in the pedigree as well, you've got Miesk, the second dam of Alpine Star, a triple Grade 1 winner herself. East of the Moon is out of Miesk. Absolutely fantastic pedigree. No surprise at all. This is how Alpine Star is running. I will emphasise this now. How Alpine Star is running is how all these horses should be running. They are so well bred, it is unbelievable. I have to touch on Fancy Blue. You know, I thought that was an unlucky one as well in the Irish Guineas, where it finished second, staying on beautifully for a race of this nature up the extra 2 furlongs. I was hoping it'd go for the English Oaks. I think a mile and a half could be more suited for it in due course. But they've sent her to France. She's half sister to a Group 1 place listed winner Smuggler's Cove and Casterton. I remember that one going round quite nicely a few times. All out of Grade 3 and a listed 4th dam Chenchikova. And she herself is a full sister to Black Bear Island that won the Dante. And obviously that means High Chaparral, 5-time Grade 1 winner and sire, High Chaparral. The second dam is a full sister to a few listed winners as well. And a half sister to a Grade 1 5th, Grade 2 place listed winner Kanata. It's a very nice pedigree on Fancy Blue, also by Deep Impact. So that's a horse in my view. I'll lead you on to a couple now that I think it could be foolish to leave out, but they're the ones. They're a couple that have been identified after lockdown, and as a consequence, it's impossible for me to recommend them because the form of any horse identified since May has just not been there. But the pedigree of these two horses is there. Magic Attitude was third last time out, ran quite a decent enough race, in quite a good race. But she's a full sister to US and French Group 1 placed, Group 2 and listed winner Mission Impossible. Ran well, it was second in the Guineas. The French Guineas, both out of a Group 1 and dual listed winning dam Mark O'Did, trained in England. Herself out of a second dam, who herself is half sister to Hong Kong Group 1 and Group 3 place sire Floral Dynamite. There's some nice horses in that pedigree, but the form is not there. Another one is a very nice horse, is a Solsticia, the Wertheimer filly, out of a Galileo sired dam who was beaten once at Grade 2 level in 6 starts. She did win once though. She's a full sister to a Group 2 place listed winner Maniaco, and a half sister to a Group 1 4th, Group 2 and Group 3 winner at the time of writing this article, Plumatic, and Group 2 place Starmaniac. That is obviously, they are all obviously out of Plumania. Group 1 and Group 2 winning second dam, herself a half sister to Balladeurs, dam of Grade 1 winner, Group 1 winner Left Hand, and among other horses, Romancier, who is now I think 4-time Group 3 placed again at the level this year. And Dance Quest, who's the dam of a dual Group 2 place, Group 3 winner Flop Shot, who has since left Wertheimer Frere and gone to race in America. Secaret as well, only once raced, but she's the dam of a listed winning horse in Ireland called Solage. Some very nice horses. They're very nice horses in the pedigree of Solsticia, without any shadow of a doubt. But again, it was identified after lockdown, so you're going to be brave. You're going to be brave or foolish to look at Magic Attitude or Solsticia purely based on the runs of the others. Magic Attitude's already been beaten once. You know, some of them have not even been published. I've had a list of 6 2-year-olds. They all got beat at Royal Ascot, the ones that ran. You know, one of them got beat today in France. One of them got another one. The 3-year-old got beat yesterday in France. It's tough going. So that's why we've backed right off the horses that we're identifying in these stale atmospheres with no crowd, no race, no atmosphere, no owners. Just not proving up to it so far. So we're going to give them a few weeks, see what they do. One horse I will touch on that's running elsewhere at Epsom on Saturday, just before I go, is Ferrat. I mean, I actually did fancy this one for the Oaks as well. I was hoping it'd run in the Oaks, but instead they're going for the Group 3 race on the same day. Ferrat is a beautifully bred filly. She's a half-brother to Ben Battle. That's all that entails. The dam, obviously, of Ben Battle. It's a dual Group 1 winning dam, Narain. Beautiful family. Herself a half-sister to Bahara. Both out of a triple Group 1 placed, Group 2, Group 3, and listed winning second dam, Bar, B-A-H-R. Herself a half-sister to a Group 3 and dual listed winner, Cleric. I like that horse. Nice horse. Wouldn't surprise me if that one was to prove good enough in that race. So I'm just going to wrap up quickly now, then we're done. We're just going to give the selections again. From what I can remember, Steve's selections were English King and Kamiko. And in the English Oaks, he was very strong on Frankly Darling. And in the French Derby, he likes Ocean Atlantique. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Thanks again to Steve for taking the time to put all this together, help us put this together. Who knows when we'll be back? We're hoping the Kentucky Derby is still on the back burner. You know, they're racing in September, we think now. Myself and Monica McCarthy are going to take a look at when things get. Monica, bless her, she's not been very well the last 2 or 3 weeks. Monica, if you're listening to this, get well soon. We love you here at Reprieve Media CIC, and we hope that you can shake off this fever soon and get back to 100%. Hopefully Monica will be back soon, and you take care. Right, everybody, that's it. We'll be back soon. Don't know when. But in the meantime, thank you very much for listening, and all the best.